This is the fifth and last webinar of Hope for Home training for family coaches. Hope for Home is the family component of helping offenders prosper through employment, a mentoring program for incarcerated youth. This video will describe how the family coaches support the youth and their adult caregivers after the youth leaves the detention facility. After completing this webinar, you will be able to describe the goals of family coaching and to identify how to help adult caregivers in their efforts to support the youth at home, school, and or work. Hope for Home has three components. Information about the assessment component can be found in Webinar 1 and 2. The second component, Family Psychoeducation, was described in Webinar 3 and 4. Family coaching is the third component of Hope for Home. It takes place in the community after the youth has come home. The family coach offers support and encourages the adult caregiver to use the knowledge and skills they have gained from the family psychoeducation session. The goals of family coaching are to help caregivers use their knowledge of effective communication, conflict management, problem solving, and decision making when they interact with the youth at home and in the community after the youth's discharge from the detention facility. The family coach assists caregivers in their efforts to help the teen. They encourage caregivers to use the skills they have learned in the family psychoeducation sessions and to generalize them to their interactions with the youth at home and in the community. How does the family coach maintain contact with the adult caregiver after the youth returns home? And how often? When the youth returns home, the family coach meets with caregivers either in person or via the use of communication technology such as Skype, Zoom, or just phone. The frequency of contact decreases over time as adult caregivers begin to experience success in their interactions with the youth and in their use of effective communication, conflict management, and problem solving. In the first 2 to 3 months, the family coach contacts or meets with the adult caregivers once a week or once every other week. After the first 2 to 3 months, the family coach and the adult caregiver discuss and decide how often they should meet for support. The family coach follows the adult caregiver and provides support for a total of 12 months after the youth returns home. It is our hope that after 12 months, the adult caregivers will feel strong in their skills and confident they can resolve challenges with the youth on their own. How does the family coach support the adult caregivers when the youth returns home? The family coach follows the adult caregivers and the youth in the community after the youth's discharge from the detention center. For a period of 12 months post-release, the family coach maintains regular contact with the adult caregivers and offers support by listening actively, by communicating their understanding, and by encouraging the adult caregivers to use the knowledge and skills they have gained in family psychoeducation. Prior to each contact with the adult caregivers, the family coach sends a reminder with the day and time of the meeting or call. This allows the caregiver and the family coach to confirm they are available and to communicate they are looking forward to seeing each other. It is recommended that the family coach calls or sends a text or email at least 1 day prior to the scheduled contact. At the time of the contact, the family coach first greets the adult caregiver and asks how the adult caregiver thinks the youth is doing and what the youth and the adult caregiver have done together since the last meeting or call. They also ask about any incident that may have occurred and how the adult caregiver addressed it. This conversation is the opportunity to learn more about the relationship between the youth and the adult caregiver in the community. It is also the opportunity to show that you are listening and that you care about the adult caregiver's experience. For example, you may say, "Wow, Tyron, you sound really proud of Nick. He has kept his end of the bargain and he's working really hard on his GED. I also hear that you are worried. Tell me what you're worried about." During the conversation with the adult caregiver, the family coach listens to and acknowledges the challenges the adult caregiver is experiencing. The family coach also highlights when the adult caregiver is using the knowledge and skills they have built in family psychoeducation. For example, the family coach may note that the adult caregiver, Tyron, is using effective communication skills. "I understand that Nick can be stubborn at times and you're trying hard not to lose patience. I am impressed that you listened to him the other day, even though Nick was in a rage, and that you showed you cared by telling him it was okay to be angry and by inviting him to speak to you about his anger. During the conversation, the family coach and the adult caregiver discuss how the adult caregiver used the knowledge and skills gained in the psychoeducation sessions. They also evaluate how the adult caregiver used the skills and discuss what the adult caregiver could do differently. This may include using resources in the youth's community to support the youth at home, school, and/or work. At the end of the meeting or phone call, the family coach and the adult caregiver agree on the day and time of their next contact. Then the family coach documents their meeting or call with the adult caregiver using the form that can be found on page 17 of the Hope for Home manual. Documenting each contact is critical because it helps us remember key aspects of the conversations with the adult caregivers. What they said their challenges and strengths were, and what they decided to do differently with the youth. In addition, the Directors of Hope review each documentation of contact to support and advise the family coaches. It is important to remember that the Directors of Hope are there to help you. You will have regular contact with the directors to talk about your conversation and success with the adult caregivers, as well as the challenges you may experience and how to address them. Also remember, positivity, commitment, acceptance, and compassion are core values of Hope, and family coaches communicate those values when they listen and acknowledge what the caregivers say about their experience with the youth. Also remember that conversations are more effective than lectures. Encourage the caregiver to ask questions and share their thoughts. Most importantly, link the conversation to the knowledge and skill the caregiver has gained from the family psychoeducation, and encourage the caregivers to think of ways they could use the knowledge and skills to help their team. Congratulations! You have now completed the online training of Hope for Home, and you are on your way to becoming a family coach. Next, you will meet with the Directors of Hope, who will give you a graduation certificate, assign the adult caregiver with whom you will work, and help you to schedule your first family psychoeducation session.